Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Winter Forest. Today let's talk about local storage. And when you talk about local storage, it actually not just the broader local storage. They actually have three types of local storage has been supported since HTML5. One is local storage, another type is session storage, and also cookie. Cookie actually existing before HTML5 exists. And today I'm going to use a practice example to explain them. So instead of just a text, because you could find it, what is them, and but we are going to find it what is then used in the practice example. First, just we look at what is the difference between them. So here it is the summary I found from the internet. I feel this viewpoint is very important. You need to understand it. And also local storage, session storage, and cookie. It is commonly be asked during the interview. So let's look at what is local storage. Local storage store data with no expiry date and gets cleaned only through JavaScript or clean the browser cache, or you use a browser clean the local storage data. And for the limitation, local storage for all of browser support HTML5, and the most popular browser except one maybe is Safari only support 5 megabits. Most of them support 10 megabits data. So if you store 5 megabits data, it should be safe. And another thing is can only read on the client side, and this is the same with the session storage. And session storage can store data up to 10 megabits for all of HTML5 support browser. And they have one browser actually support unlimited session storage. And they have a big difference. The session storage and the local storage is session storage can be expired. Also, session storage can be here said the session storage object store data only for a session. What do you mean session? So when you the data is stored until the browser or a tab is closed. So if you close, then you open the same URL again, that storage will be. So session storage store data only for a session. That basically just means only store when just you open it. Once you close either the browser or just a single tab of this website, your session will be lost. And the other thing quite similar, except the session storage can store a big data. Another thing here didn't mention that the session storage has expired time, and local storage actually won't be expired until you clean it. And the cookie actually store here I haven't copied over the cookie here I haven't listed in here. The cookie existed before HTML5 fully supported for all of the browser. So this actually being widely used, and currently if in the real life you go into application and they in certain amount of time they will appear alert say your session going to expire. It actually not a session storage, it is the cookie, your cookie going to expire because it is server driven. And we also read from here, store data has to be sent back to the server with a subsequent request. I will explain you what is this one in the practice example. It has expired time. This expired time depends when you release a session cookie, when you are in the server. And the cookie are primarily for server-side reader because the server will remember you if and even if this session is not expired yet. Second time you open the tab with this session, the server still remembered you. So that is why you could get alert in certain amount of time your session expire. Actually, it means the server released the session. It is the cookie in your browser is going to expire. And this only support very limited data, only 4 KB. And cookie can be made secure by, you could set HTTP only and flag on the cookie, so it make it more secure. So the client side, so you can just open the tab, go to the bottom, say get my cookie, because you cannot access, it is HTTP only. Now, and the practice example action is previous I did for UI learning React and material. Right, there is authentication, and we use the server release a session cookie, the session in the server side, cookie in your front side. And once you come here, you logged in. They logged in the front end have authentication components reusable. I will write your current user into the local storage. And the log out, I will manually clean it. Now we just see it in use. I think I opened in here. And the application is, if you haven't followed this one, you could go into the code, get it running in your local, just to practice this video. The code, it is in here. In React. This is Sandy. I'll go to here. This. It is this one. And if you see here, actually have the API and also have the client. This test is if you have a plug called REST in the VS Code installed, you could use this one. Otherwise, you could use Postman. And these are the client-side code, and also all over the API. So if you see in here in my application, I opened 2 terminals. One terminal, I just single, once you install the package, you go into here, you run npm up actually spin the up. If you are just coming fresh, you first, you just run this npm up, are going to up this Redis and MongoDB in your local, and then up this API. So the API have 3 code, and this API will up in localhost 8080. So up 3 servers. One is the Redis, one is the session. Because my server session, the session released not use express in memory, so I release a session use Redis. And the second terminal are actually up. So you actually go into the client side, and they have a package. I installed start from create React app. So if you start in here npm started, then this URL, every API call I will proxy to the localhost 8080. So because my servers I didn't enable the close, so you need in the same origin. And if you go into the request, util request, so you need in the same origin, otherwise you can't request this your localhost 8080 because the origin is different. And it also this is not related to this one. So if you do a coding test, sometimes you go into the browser URL, you could see list of the JSON data, but actually you cannot use API call because they didn't enable cross origin. So if you use create React app allow to you proxy to them. So you actually will be the same origin. So in here in the request, underline it you use the same origin. So I could make an API call to mine and another origin localhost 8080. So 3080 is different. So it's called cross origin. But since our proxy, so it will treat like the same origin. This is not related to this one. Now we back to our topic and storage, local storage. And in the broader size, if now I use once this after you suppose going to localhost to 3000, you suppose in here, since I haven't signed in, if you go here, now we come back to local session storage is empty and the local storage also empty, and you don't have a cookie for localhost 3000. This I need a clean actually. Previous I logged this person in. I could clean this one. So haven't expired it. So I need to make sure this expired. Otherwise, my back end will say you already logged in, because I just tested this before. Now we start everything brand new. You just spin up this. You just spin up this in your local. Now you you have because you didn't log in, you be restrict go into the profile page. Also is the home page, and I did a sign in. I already forgot my login, so I just sign up. Sign up will also sign me in. Once I sign me in, I expect to have a cookie and the session and the local storage. Why I explain you later in the code where I put it. So if I have an email called Sandy QQQ hotmail.com, and Sandy is fine, just password, make sure password is the same. And once I signed in, and let's see, we are going to here. Now if you go into the local storage, I give you authentication, and I'll also give you session local storage. And also for the cookie, you have this ID, you have 1 hour available. And now let's explain it. This and this, they have no different, only when they expired. If I where I written in the how I just write this, how we can have this one. First, we be able to have this one because in the code, in the authentication, I create reusable components in the client side. In the components, in the client side, inside the components, have authentication. So once if you logged in, I will write it, session and cookie. But once you log out, if you see here, I put in the view. This is the reusable components. And when I logged out, I need to clean I only need to clean the local storage. I didn't clean the session. I show you how I clean, how the session is gone. So I put in the view, util views in the app. When you log out, here will remove the cookie. So come to here. If I log out, you will see, and it also will make an API call to here. I explain to you in the load and in the login. I have login and the log out method all in here. When you come to here, I will clean your session. The session is part of the request, non-part you local store, non-part. So this is session in the server side and is the cookie in your client side. Once I log out, you will see this one is gone. but this one won't be gone. Explain. If I click log out, did you see? You are logged out, but this won't be gone. This win will be gone if you are going to here. Close. I don't need to remember this. Close and open localhost. Then you go into here. I just close the tab. I didn't close the browser. So you go to the application. You see the session is gone, but the cookie won't be gone. The cookie will be gone because you already logged out. See here, you already make the request log out. But if I logged in again, I remember I used the QQQ. How many Q? 1, 2, 3, 3 Q. Yeah, 3 Q. So if I logged in, and then the cookie and the cookie will be existing, and the session also will have, and the local storage also have. But if I don't log out, I simply close the browser. The local storage will be exist. Cookie also exists. Cookie only exists for 1 hour. 1 hour later, it automatically cleaned. So if I close, open the localhost 3000, and then you come to here, you see the cookie still exists. SID cookie. This is my released for you. Localhost cookie is exist, and but the session is gone. Local storage also exists. It only when you log out, I will clean both local storage and the session. So let's back to the text. So what is the difference? And the session only existing for session. So the one only you open, second time open, only for once. You second time open, you actually already gone. So you also could say both of them basically the same. Local storage, session storage. You could use one sentence. Local storage won't going to expire until you clean it. Session storage has expired, only existing per session. And what is the difference between the cookie? Cookie is server released. The server and in here, once you logged in, this is the login. I will give you this session, and this session part of the request. So and this session, the expire time depend what I setting in here. I have, if you go into my browser, go into the first app, in here I have defined the option. So this Redis store, it is not I captured this session. So you're going to use this session, express session. Express session won't use the in-memory session. We are use my Redis session. My Redis session configure in here. I set you in 1 hour. Yes, I set the config. I forgot it. Let me find it. Config tab. Session port host. I set the session in 1 hour. In here the sessions. So that I actually set a half hour. So this one part of this conference, the session option, it is in here. So this session in the server side session, in the browser is a cookie. So this will expire in half hour, and must be the same site. That's why when you make a request, you in the URL, the UTL for the request. So I put it in here, need the same origin, and that's it. So that is what that is the another thing I think I mentioned. It's actually the cookie and local storage is more popular, and even in Canada they are just recently implement authentication for my current law. They are and it use Microsoft Azure Active Authentication. The Azure Active Authentication is actually not outright, so you just embed them in. They actually use the both cookie and also local storage. So this is the popular one because it actually is nice. So sometimes a person just come to your site for online shopping, you're going to remember some behavior. Like I already select some store, you definitely one day, second time they open the page, they still have over there. Why not use local storage? Because it only the browser now. So if you just use local storage, you need this person is going in and click and sign this one, and you need to add this every person what they pick up the item in here. That's not the real scenario going to use. Normally this local storage, session storage, and cookie for user authentication reasons. So once I have this session, even the person didn't log in, I release everybody come to my site and release a session for them. Second time, they coming in. If this is online shopping cart, I know 1, 2, 3, 4 item already selected when they coming in. When they behind, I will see pick up in the browser. They could display the item already over there. I think it is good user behavior. So that is why even the cookie is only can store 4 KB, still in current day be widely used. And also it is why the tutorial in here Murstack are actually explain you how to use the cookie. Even in this day, if you are in internal application, internal website, I think everybody you working in a company, you come in, you only need to log in once, because they actually behind the scene they request already have your authentication, not that your local storage have your authentication. So actually the cookie still is very useful. So that is why the reason in this tutorial and for the API level I still choose release a session cookie, and then the front I just remember that you this call to action useful is a very practice way. You could slightly change, especially for the authentication. All of the components you could reusable in any projects, especially for here the client. In here the client side components. All of these components suppose is reusable. You could copy paste in any application, especially this authentication. And this authentication have no UI related, so you actually just related to you config what kind of data you're going to set. In here, I just going to find you logged in or not. Normally, and you're going to release cookie. Maybe in later on, I will tutorial add a JWT token instead of just session request. I also release a JWT token. So in here, I could. So that is why I didn't totally finish in here. Then you could have the token. Then second time you make a request, if you logged in, you could use the token to get your information. Then send a request. Like I said, not every site need a person to log in. Then you could analyze this person. You actually just release a session. Then you could do something. Maybe I talk too much. And just back to this one. Hope you get a better understanding in here. And that's it for today's topic. Hope you find it is useful. And if you like it, and don't forget just subscribe it and click like. Thank you. Bye bye.